with the Chhawla Gangrape murder case. Ex-CJI UU Lalit spoke to Times Now and he has reacted on the acquittals of the culprits. He had headed the bench on the case and he said that if we found that circumstantial evidence was not well established, the convicts deserve acquittal.
So circumstances did not form a complete change and did not eliminate every other hypothesis to prove the guilt of the man and the main accused, the convicts in the case. The circumstances that did not prove the guilt of the man, and we did not find any material good enough to sustain the conviction. That has been mentioned by the former CJI, even as the clamour that has been growing for a reinvestigation in the case.
The Supreme Appellate level, if we found that the circumstances were not well established, number two, that the circumstances did not form a complete chain and which did not eliminate every other hypothesis except the guilt of the man, it is on these parameters that we saw the facts. After being convinced that the facts or the circumstances do not establish the guilt of the persons concerned, it is after that that we acquitted those persons. Whether the authorship of the crime is proved or not is a matter to be considered by the judicial organ of the society, the Supreme Court, which has to rule on that issue. And in that process, we did not find material good enough to sustain their conviction.
Let me go across to my colleague Harish over the phone. And Harish, as we speak about the Chhawla Gangrape case, wherein, of course, there is a clamour for justice, but this kind of statement from UU Lalit, which has come forward, he says that circumstantial evidence was not enough. So, first of all, can you take us to all what has been said by him and how important that statement is?
Yes, in fact, what is to be remembered is that it was former Chief Justice UU Lalit who had headed the bench, and his judgment was delivered on his retirement day, that is November 7th. Now, after a week, he has come out and told exclusively to Times Now that though there is a hue and cry over the acquittals, the courts strictly go by what is placed before them as evidence and not by sentiments or emotions. The Chief Justice has very significantly said that the prosecution had failed to prove the case beyond reasonable doubt, and also could not form a chain of circumstantial evidence, and therefore there was no other option than to set free the accused. Remember, this bench led by then Chief Justice UU Lalit had in fact cited glaring lapses by the Delhi police and Haryana police, and also by the trial judge, including the fact that DNA samples were not properly protected, and chances of tampering could not be ruled out. And while key witnesses were being examined, the defense was not given chance to cross-examine these witnesses. Therefore, these accused, these convicts, did not get a free trial.
Right.
While stating that the lower court and high court had given them death sentence, the Justice Lalit said that the Supreme Court is the final authority in this regard, and therefore the prosecution could not establish.
So despite the massive uproar against the verdict of the Supreme Court, the former CJI said that only evidence matters in front of the court and not sentiments. And while delivering the verdict of the acquittal, the Supreme Court bench had said that the evidence presented against the accused was not well established, with the prosecution failing to form a proper case against them. Hence, the acquittals happened. For the moment, Harish, thanks very much for joining in.